This is MRC, Mineral Commodities Limited. Looks like very erratic, doesn't it? Very lightly traded. And what can we do? Here we go. He's got a ultra high volume bar way back here, down bar. So that's someone taking a position there, and that's moved the stock. Look, I think we'll have to go to another time frame. I might go to the monthly and just see what we can see. So okay, this is where it was sold off last. So that'll act as resistance at 23 cents. Here's your bullish bar down here, so I'll just put that as support at 5 cents there, and that's acted as resistance and then support over here. So there's been a position taken here. It's moved up then on no demand, so they haven't really supported this move up. It's come back for some more accumulation. Up it's gone. Test and up. Okay, might just put a just trying to see where possible support might be, because that looks like it's been sold into at the top there. But it looks like the 10 cents is just the close of our volume bar there, so that'll be support. Resistance will be, the major resistance is at 23 cents. And I might just, but anyway, you're in a little uptrend from here, I suppose. So you've made a low here. This is in 2008, mind you, so it's been a bit of a hard slog. So maybe a little channel there. But you have made a higher low here. Higher high. But I don't like on the daily, I notice you've got this really ultra high volume bar here, and it's been sold into. If that was all buying, it couldn't really close on in the middle like that, and then close down, and then the next bar has gone up, but on no demand. It's the lightest volume in 3 bars, even though it's sort of more volume than this. But look, you got the 10 cents there. Maybe if it can hold, we've got 13 cents there as possible support. Maybe if they're still bullish, they might accumulate in another range, but that's a weak bar collapse, and then that up move is a weak up move. So I think this would have to come back, and so we'll just see. I mean, that's 5 million. That's ultra high volume, but it's 5 million shares, so it's not really. It's a little bit erratic that way, but look, I'd keep my eye on this uptrending line to see if it can support on there or on the 10 cents. If it can start accumulating on the 13 cents, that'd be good. Yeah, so that's a little bit difficult when it's so erratic like that, with very little happening. But well, you did have a little VSA test and move up, I suppose. Yeah, there's not a lot. It's not really telling me a lot, but your last move up is pretty weak because it's been heavily sold into. Maybe there's some news, they got sold into at the top, it's collapsed, tried to rise on less volume, but so we'll just have to see. I wouldn't buy it there. I wouldn't want to be long at this stage. I'm sure it can go higher, but that's not where I'd buy it. I'd wait for it to settle. But you have got this really ultra high volume bar here, which I'll just put on the weekly. So that's definitely something there, and but yeah, it's been a bit of a long haul, and then you've suddenly got movement, but still very little. These quantities are really small, eh? So that's hard. That's weak. That's weakness coming in there. It's ultra high volume, sold in the top, but let's see if it can see where it can settle. I'd keep my eye on that trend channel there, and probably it's a little bit erratic, I think, but I would expect that to come back, and just need to see where it consolidates, possibly the 10 cents, or even where they broke out at the 12.5 cents, but we're just guessing now. But definitely catching supply in the top of this bar, so I would expect that to come back, and then we'll see where they support the price. Okay, this is OTE, Otis Energy, and that is all no, that's it. That's all the data there is. It's only 7 weeks old. Okay, well, I'm not sure we can say much about that, because it's just too early to say anything. You got your high volume. Well, I suppose you got your high volume there. It's your highest volume bar on the chart. It corresponds with this, the closing price of this one over here. I mean, there's not a lot more you can say. I mean, is it an uptrend? But you know, got that little uptrend there, I suppose, but it's, you really, it's not enough information there to say anything. This is probably why it's the last it's the last chart to be done. It's so you gotta, well we'll do it bar by bar anyway, and just see. We've got no background strength or weakness to go by because it's really new, so there's nothing to go on. Ultra high volume up bar, and we're going ultra high because we're comparing it with most of the bars. It's had to come back. Caught supply, had to come back, and it's just dribbled along. Weak bar, caught supply on the top, and that looks like a test but failed because it collapsed. Weak bar was pushed through, but it's a weak bar because it's closed on the low. Tried to go up, but it's up thrust, up thrust, up thrust. Jumped up, but looks like, look, all you can say about that, I think, is that you've got support at 1.2 and resistance at 1.6 and 1.7. I think that's pretty much all you can say about that. I think you're just asking a bit much to chart it, because there just isn't enough history to it at the moment. Sorry about that. Okay, this is SVL. This one wasn't requested. This is just one that I was watching the other day, and it had a very nice VSA long setup, which I missed. But I thought I'd include it just as an example of what we look for. Anyway, well, there's your high volume up bar where it was sold into before, and there are your key levels there on SVL. That have to support resistance, but that's not what we're going to look at. So we had this extended down move, and then at the bottom here we've got a high volume coming in. It's a down bar, closing a bit off its low, so there's some buying coming in there. Next bar, volume decreases as the selling decreases. Next bar goes up. So there must have been buying in this down bar for it to be able to do this. For the selling to dry out, and then for the next bar to go up on volume. And it's it's cut through that area quite easily on less volume than the down bar. So there's buying in this down bar. It's a down bar, but they're soaking it up, absorbing it, and up she goes. And we get volume again cuts in as we gap over resistance. So we're watching, we've got some background strength here, some potential background strength there as she goes up. So we're looking for perhaps this volume here to be tested, because that's what they do. But anyway, we gap up over resistance. There's a couple of resistance lines. We actually hit resistance from there, it looks like. Now it's an up thrust bar, like it's high volume and it's closed low, so that's a sign of weakness. But your strength hasn't disappeared yet at the bottom here. But then what catches your attention is this, the very next bar is a test, and it's a down bar, narrow spread, closing in the middle, off the low, and the volume has nothing in it. So that combined with that suddenly catches your attention. Well, it didn't catch my attention because I wasn't watching at the time, I was watching afterwards, but you do see them a lot in the, if you're trading intraday on the blue chips and that sort of thing, you see them happen quite regularly and get good entries off those. But anyway, it's a down bar, so you got your weak bar, but it's countermanded immediately by a sign of strength, which is a test on very light volume. The next bar is also, the volume decreases, and if you put those two bars together, where's my circle, there we go, the volume in those two bars combined is less than the previous three bars, even combined. Then we get what we are looking for once we see those, and that's a slight increase in volume and the price rising. So that tells you they're supporting the gap here, and that gives you your VSA entry. And actually, the next bar, what I notice on SVL, and I've noticed this before because I've done a SVL trade, a VSA trade last time it made a move up, is that it gives you, if you take two bars and on your tests, normally tests and gives you confirmation over two bars. So you got two bar test, and those two bars together give you a perfect confirmation that that something's up. So you got your background strength, you got your test on really, really low volume on top of that buying or above that buying. You get your confirmation as the price starts to move, and you could have got your entry there at 23.5 or 24 cents. Put your stop in it just beneath the gap. I would have at maybe 21.5 or even 22, probably 21.5. And but anyway, so it spends a bit of time there to absorb the weakness in this bar, which you got to expect. Goes up, then we have it gets one last yank down, but it supports the gap still, and then she breaks out. And then once she breaks out, if you just use the simple trending method they use, which is you allow for one down day, you allow for one down day to test. So while it's making, you don't count level days. So we go up, we've got one down day to test. It's closed on its low, which is a bit of a worry, but it's really light volume. Next bar goes up. This bar here then gaps resistance here on really high volume, and I probably would have got out there on that really high volume up thrust there at the 29 or 30 cents. But you find if you're stuck to your guns and just allowed for one down day, you don't get a down day. The next day is up. Now it's up on less volume than the three bars, which is normally a no demand, but because most of the close of the bar, most of the body of the bar is below the previous close, that makes that a test. So that weakness is then countermanded by the test. So that tells you they're ready to take it up another leg, and this is about where I saw it. I was very tempted to get in right on that bar, but it was, I don't like that up thrust bar. because they could be starting to distribute there, and you really don't know where the target sell is. And it happened to be a few cents above that, but anyway, if you stuck to your rules, you would have still been in the trade. That's a test. And then she pushes through, and then this is where you get out on your 2-bar reversal. See, or if you allowed that to see if it kept going, you would have been out on the next bar at the 30 cents. But the 2-bar reversal, I definitely would have been out on, because got high volume up, and the high volume persists, and you get a hidden up thrust, which is a very bad sign of weakness. Unlike your other down days, which have been on low volume. But anyway, if you allowed for that day, you probably could have would have at least got out on the 30 cents anyway. So anyway, that's a VSA trade. Not totally perfect, but it's pretty good. And then I would probably look for that now. That looks like a test, but it's failed because the next bar is closed down. But the selling has come right off, so I would expect that to find support probably within the body of this up bar here, or possibly where would we expect to find support? Probably within the body of this bar. Possibly they could try and test within the body of the bar between the 25.5. But apart from that, or the 26, there's a 26 there. So they might come back and retest in the body of this bar, but at the moment they've actually got a little uptrend happening there. They've sort of broken out there. It's come right off, so they're finished. It'll be interesting to see where they reaccumulate again. So you've got the 25.5 and which could act as support. But anyway, that's an example of a nice BSA trade I didn't take, but you can see the principles used, where you got your buying strength in the bottom, you got your testing, your confirmation where the price goes up on non-excessive volume, and that gives you your entry, and away you go. And anyway, that's SVL, and I probably would keep an eye on it when it comes back down to the 25 cents to see what it does. But anyway, that's me.